Here we are.
Oh,
Hi.
hi.
How are you?
Doing fabulous. We have Judith and Edward here.
Hi, nice to meet you. How are you doing?
Hello.
Nice to meet you, Mr. Ammiano.
Same here.
I wanted to thank you for allowing us this tremendous opportunity. I wanted to get some feedback from you on the synopsis we sent you. What your thoughts are around our aspirations to produce a film. Our hopes are to create a spiritual experience of how we treat and care for one another.
Yeah, I think it's very admirable. And, we all look for inspiration. And I think the film as a vehicle for that could be very successful. My personal story, my partner of 16 years who was a teacher, he died from, I always say neglect, because the medical profession was very homophobic and class-oriented. Then literally hundreds of people that most of us knew in the gay male community. And the people at the school loved him, the students loved him. We went together to the school and he visited every classroom and he looked pretty bad. And he told the kids, you're gonna hear this about AIDS. I want you to know, you know me, I have it. You can hug me. And that was a great service of him. That was a great sacrifice.
What would you say is the difference between the community's reaction to the virus AIDS now versus the 80s?
I think the main misconception of today, in today's world about AIDS, is that it's gone. It may be very, very, very reduced, but there are still a number of deaths here in San Francisco. I mean, we have to be very alert. I remember the first protocols, the first measures they thought might help AIDS, and many of them backfired. And it was a sad situation because oh my God, here's a pill that might help. And then the pill had devastating effects. So it was a brutal, brutal process. And yes, I'm very pleased that the protocols have increased and there's now PrEP. But the thing is you always have to look over your shoulder. We're really not there yet in terms, and maybe it'll never be a cure, but about management.
The film does touch about topics such as AIDS, LGBTQ, but the film also comes into unison about finding oneself and staying true to oneself. Is there, like in your years of teaching, some words of advice that you've given your students or any words that you live by?
Well, I guess for me, there was, what they call personal epiphanies. And so, finding the right path can be difficult. Many times, people have the wrong idea about who you are. And sometimes that results in violence. So, I'm a New Jersey guy, from the 40s and 50s, not the most enlightened era, but Italian-American family, and, a lot of dysfunction in families, but yet they always came through, as a base of support. Our backgrounds, have an impact on us, of course, and they inform who we are. I come from an activist background, and it weren't for the activists, people like ACT UP, et cetera, and so forth, there would have been no change. And it's all about affirmation. And once you cross that threshold, once you feel affirmed about who you are, pretty much no matter what other people think, once you take that step, other people pay attention.
Thank you for all the input.
All right, and thank you for doing all this, Jennifer. And I particularly enjoyed talking to the two students. They're very smart.
Yeah.
And I think this is a great point in their life for all this as well. So, all right, thank you.